Colin Kaepernick is widely recognized for his activism against police brutality and racial injustice, and this was an issue that he brought to the forefront of national conversation during his time in the NFL. We all know that during the national anthem, he sat down until a Army Ranger approached him and asked him to consider kneeling for the national anthem as opposed to sitting down. And he did so at the request of this Army Ranger. He sat down. He began kneeling during the national anthem to protest police brutality and racial inequality in the United States. This sparked national debate, and it drew both support and criticism. And as a result of that, Colin Kaepernick was basically exiled from the NFL, never to be deemed as a starting quarterback, let alone playing in the NFL ever again. So we fast forward many years later to an occurrence that took place on Sunday with superstar wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Now, I'm going to play the video, right? But before I play this video, I want to give you a comprehensive idea of what you're going to look at before I play this video. So he was driving to the stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, for their Week 1 opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was pulled over by Miami-Dade police. And I'm going to play the body cam footage from that occurrence. Fair use. Without further ado, DJ, spin that shit.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Like what? Why do you have it on? Sit down. Hey! Keep your window down. Manny. Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. Break that freaking window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 What part of Dallas do you understand?
Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. God damn, twin.
When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand?
I'm getting out.
You understand? Not what you want, but what we tell you. You're a little fucking confused.
I'm getting out, bro.
Too late.
Chill,
Too late.
All right, bro. Take me to jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro.
We are. We will.
Good, bro.
It is good.
Hey, Drew. Hey.
Don't worry about it. I hung up the phone. You stop crying.
Bro. Y'all.
Don't move.
Good. Bro, you beating on my window like you crazy.
You set him up?
Why y'all beating on my window like y'all crazy for? Damn, yo, bro, dude beating on my window like he crazy. I ain't do nothing, twin. Damn.
Hey, don't park there. Don't park there.
Hey. Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro.
I just had surgery in your ears when we go there.
Chill, bro. Hey, Joe New, bro.
Back up.
Hey, call Drew. Hey, call Drew, bro. Hey, call Drew, bro. Hey, what? Hey, call Drew, bro. Just call Drew. Hey.
What am I doing that's wrong?
Hey, listen.
Hey, listen. Hey, man, they got Tyreek. The cops over here beating on him, man. They over here beating on Tyreek,
Listen,
man.
big man, don't park there, man. Just get in the car.
Hey, Drew, you gotta come, man.
Just get in the car.
Right out the side, on the side of the,
Hey, get in the car. You're parked in the middle of the street.
I'm in the car.
You gotta go before you get a ticket.
Hey,
I'm
you're
not
in the car.
Who's the driver?
This is my car.
All right, move.
All right, I'll take that.
You gotta move right now.
I'm coming, man.
Let me have your license. You're gonna ticket too.
I'm coming.
Let me have your license. You're gonna ticket. Let me have your license.
I'm leaving.
I'm not playing. Let me have your
I'm
license.
leaving. Yo, what's
Your
going
license
on?
right now.
Sir, what's going on,
Your license
man?
right now. You're not gonna give me your license?
Hey,
the car and leave.
You're not gonna give me your license?
I'm leaving.
Let me have your
I'm
license.
leaving,
Your
man.
license
I'm
right now.
leaving. Sir, you want me
Hey,
to-
your license right now.
I'm leaving.
Or I'm gonna lock you
He
up.
just told
Your
me to
license
leave.
right now.
He just told me to
Your
leave.
license right now.
Sir, he just-
You're dealing with me now.
Sir.
Your license right now.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. All right. So the police clearly escalated this situation with Tyreek Hill. Okay. Anybody that try to say otherwise, you're just going to get blocked. I'm not even going to go back and forth with you because you don't know what you're talking about. Right. So these are the same people that's going to come around. They're going to be talking this nonsense about, oh, he complied. He'd still be alive. No, nonsense. If you ain't applied that situation to Ashley Babbitt, shut your ass up. Anyway, now let's continue on. Right. So just because the police officer did not get the compliance from Tyreek Hill when Tyreek Hill rolled his window up, right? That is not a crime. Okay. As long as I can hear what you're saying, I don't need to roll my window down. I don't know where they get this notion that you have to comply with everything they say. Just because a person is being an asshole, that does not constitute a crime. Just because somebody didn't want to roll their window down, that doesn't constitute a crime. You already have his ID. This how the situation should have happened, right? I did police work. I did police work when I was in the military. This how this interaction should have went down, right? You already got him pulled over. You already approached the car, right? Then the cop is already in the fatal funnel. You should not be all up in that area where there's the fatal funnel at, right? Anybody that worked in the police line of work knows about the fatal funnel, okay? So he already given you his ID. The next thing should have happened is he should have went back this motorcycle. And why was all these motorcycles there to begin with for a routine traffic stop? That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, the next thing should have happened, should have went back this motorcycle, filled out the ticket, right? So he fills out the ticket, goes back to the vehicle, hands him back his license, hands him the citation, boom, done and over with. That's what should have happened. This right here instead turns into a circus. So the level of force that was done to Tyreek Hill was clearly out of bounds, out of line, and it was unacceptable. And as a result of that, we got a police officer that's on administrative leave. That means he's still getting paid. Now, if when they get done with this investigation and it's determined that this guy gets fired, then what? It is going to be a statute where he can't work as a police officer ever again anywhere else, or is he going to be allowed to go somewhere else and work as a police officer and all that? Because there needs to be two things put in play here, and this is where any qualified immunity comes in. At you want to know why we want qualified immunity to end? Because of that exchange right there. Now, the other guy that was on that video that those aggressive cops was going towards was Calais Campbell. He's the defensive end for the Miami Dolphins. So of course he has concern about his friend, his teammate. He pulls over to see what the commotion was about. He was not interfering in their investigation. He was trying to see what happened, but at no point did Calais Campbell do or say anything that constitute a threat or constitute that there was interfering in the investigation, right? So why ask for the ID? For what? Calais Campbell does not have to give you his ID in that exchange. There was no reasonable suspicion that he committed a crime. So to ask Calais Campbell for his ID is beyond comprehension, and now at that point you're just abusing your authority as a police officer. But let's go back to the exchange that got Tyreek Hill ripped out the vehicle, right? So when he said keep your window down, Tyreek Hill does not have to keep his window down for what? If anything, you should be thankful he keeps his window down, but then he doesn't have to pull his gun out and shoot through the window, whatever like that, right? In all likelihood, that does not constitute another officer coming out and ripping him out the car just because he didn't want to keep his window down. So Tyreek Hill questioned the officer's forceful knocking on his window, and he expressed his desire to receive his ticket and go about his business, which should have happened, right? So the cops escalate the situation, right? Now, in police work, you are taught to de-escalate. Emotions are already running high. We already see cases of black folks getting gunned down during routine traffic stops at the hands of police, so emotions are running high. As a police officer, you are taught to de-escalate the situation. But they didn't de-escalate the situation. They escalated it. This is far removed from Eric Estrada and Chips, right? Situation got even further out of control where they open the car door, Tyreek Hill gets ripped out the car and was taken down to the ground, as you saw in the video. They handcuffed him. They were asking him to sit down. Now, mind you, Tyreek Hill was already coming off a surgically repaired knee. So it might take him a while before he sits down. But you got the other officer coming around, trying to be all Billy Badass. He grabbed the guy. He forcibly sits him down on the ground. Now, eventually, Tyreek Hill was released, and he ended up playing in the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he caught an 80-yard game-winning touchdown. And the Dolphins teammates trolled it after he scored that touchdown. Now, of course, you got butter biscuit eaters like Brandon Tatum and other gelatinous gargantuan giants like Jason Whitlock. This is red meat for these coons. This is really bloody red meat for these buck dancers, for these sellouts, for these charlatans or whatever. Because, of course, they're going to come out and say, like clockwork, you have Brandon Tatum making videos trashing Tyreek Hill. You got Jason Whitlock coming right up the rear, agreeing with it. Now, one time that they said those police officers were out of bounds, that these police officers were in the wrong, that they escalated the situation. Now, this incident sparked debate about police conduct or misconduct, the use of force, which they clearly abused their use of force, right? Because there's a level of force continuum, and you're supposed to use the least amount of force necessary to stop a threat or use the least of force necessary for whatever encounter you are involved in. And those situations are different. Not one situation is the same. There is no one size fits all. right? So we've seen routine traffic stops become deadly situations. We've seen routine traffic stops escalate quickly, like this one. So when you factor in what Colin Kaepernick said over the years, it is poetic justice. He's a visionary. He's a revolutionary, right? So there needs to be a thorough review. And like clockwork, the police unions are going to defend these officers who were involved in this situation. Like they did nothing wrong, but they did a whole lot wrong. I will argue with anybody that the police were dead wrong in the situation. Because again, what interprets or what constitutes cooperative behavior is subjective, and different people handle situations differently, right? So this is going to raise questions about the power dynamics involved in interactions between police and citizens, including those in the public eye. So yes, if they're willing to do this to Tyreek Hill, now that being said, not everybody is going to know who Tyreek Hill is, but they do see a black man driving this really expensive car down the street, and already antennas are going up. Who are you? How did you get this? You don't look like the type that should be driving something like this. That's what they see. They don't see how I see, oh, this is a superstar wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. And hey, he got a game he got to play in or whatever. They don't see that. I guarantee you that they don't see that. Now, if I was a police officer and I was the one that stopped Tyreek Hill, I would probably get a little starstruck. I would probably get starstruck. I would probably be like, oh man, Tyreek Hill, oh, that's what's up, bro. Hey man, look. For whatever reason, he was pulled over. I don't know if he was speeding. I don't know if he was not wearing the seatbelt. I don't know if he had a broken. I don't know what happened that caused him to get pulled over, right? So for people that saying, "Oh, he was driving 100 miles an hour," how do you know that? Were you in the car? If you weren't in the car and you're saying that, you're being disingenuous and you're not assessing the situation in its proper context. You don't know what led up to Tyreek Hill being pulled over. So but again, these guys don't see a superstar NFL wide receiver who plays for the Miami Dolphins. They see a black man driving this expensive car, and it's gonna be like, "Whoa, who are you? And why did you get pulled? Why are you driving this expensive car? You don't look like the type of guy that drives this expensive car. You should be driving a Ford Taurus, or you should be driving a Chevrolet Cruze or something like that." What's up, Eric? Now, if they wanted to do this to this man who is a public figure, imagine what they would do to somebody that's not a public figure, who works a 9 to 5, trying to make an honest living. And there's no cameras too. Would that make CNN? Would that make the local news at 6? Would there be calls for reform? We've been calling for reforms. We've been calling for changes to this justice system or this injustice system. I talked about yesterday how you had a judge that was making racist comments while she was on the bench. And how I've talked about on many videos throughout the years how the police unions get in the way of any kind of reforms. And that we got elected officials like Kamala Harris, who used to work as a prosecutor, would unjustly put people in prison, and yet she's asking for your vote on November 5th to become president of the United States. All your lawmakers at one point or another were either police officers, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and they've all, more often than not, have gotten involved in some kind of shady practice to where a black man is unjustly put in prison doing football numbers. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the case here, but this is where we at, right? So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think Tyreek Hill was in the wrong? Because again, before you answer that question, being a butthole or being rude to the cop does not constitute anything illegal. It's not a crime to be an asshole. It's not a crime to say some snarky remark to the cop. Now, if the cop wants to get in his feelings or whatever, that's a whole nother situation. But just because somebody says something bad to you and you just happen to be in a uniform and a badge with a gun and a nightstick, that don't mean you have some overarching authority. Remember, a lot of these guys forget that the taxpayer is paying their salary. The taxpayer is paying their salary, right? So why we got these unnecessary incidents? We see what happened with Sonia Massey, right? We see what happened with Sonia Massey. When Sonia Massey was gunned down in her own home. An unarmed black woman was gunned down in her own home. Now, once again, for these people in the back, this is what should have happened. He already got the ID, should have went back to the motorcycle, filled out the citation, went right back to the car, gave him his ID, the citation, and that should have been it. That should have been it. Instead, we get this circus. And now you got a police officer or two that is on administrative leave. If you ask me, they should have been suspended without pay, if you ask me. They should have been suspended without pay. Barring the outcome of the investigation. Now, if you want to donate to this channel, the Cash App, PayPal, and it's down below. Any and all donations are accepted. Appreciate it. And salute to Black Light Revelations. Please go subscribe to his channel. His channel is very informative. I know I get a lot out of Black Light Revelations. So welcome to the channel, bro. I hope you get a lot out of this content I'm putting out. So once again, shouts out to Black Light Revelations in the building. So the attention somehow got diverted from Tyreek Hill and this police encounter to this. Now, look, this should not be the topic of discussion, but yet somehow this creeped in. I don't know if this was used to overshadow what happened with Tyreek Hill, but here we are in a situation where the attention is getting taken off Tyreek Hill and put on to this. Majoring in the minors. So we got a situation where Jay-Z tapped Kendrick Lamar to headline the Super Bowl halftime show, and Lil Wayne is down there in New Orleans being snubbed, being overlooked, or whatever like that, and people are outraged by that. Now, they're not outraged from Tyreek Hill getting yanked out the car, getting put in handcuffs, having police officers do whatever, saying however they want it, but the attention and the outrage is on this. Make no mistake, there are no winners here. There are no winners in the scenario. Jay-Z is not a winner. Jay-Z has always been a rat and a snitch and a snake. Lil Wayne ain't no winner. Lil Wayne's a buck dancer. And anybody who aligns themselves with Jay-Z, I'm looking at you funny. It doesn't matter what quality music you put out. Shouts out to the world class in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. So I did a video Saturday on majoring in the minors, right? And in that video, I talked about how this black woman was in front of Kamala Harris, and they're talking about collard greens. Not anything about policy-wise, not anything about reparations, any qualified immunity, anti-black hate crime bill. She's talking to Kamala Harris about collard greens that she washed in the bathtub. Make it make sense. So we get so starstruck and get so enamored with somebody who is supposed to be a public figure who's supposed to be working for us in front of us. We want to talk about collard greens. We want to talk about the Super Bowl and why Lil Wayne getting screwed out the Super Bowl is so outrageous, and the impact that Lil Wayne had on the city of New Orleans, whatever. All that's nonsense. We got a situation here to where this continues on. This should be the focus. This should be the topic of discussion. Not Lil Wayne getting screwed out the Super Bowl. As far as I'm concerned, Lil Wayne can go kick rocks. He want to line himself with Skip Bayless for crying out loud. And you wonder why we can't get anywhere. You wonder why we cannot get qualified immunity to end. Because this would be the perfect scenario for Tyreek Hill to go after those cops for what they did on Sunday. This has been the perfect scenario for Tyreek Hill to sue those cops for what they did. I'll go a step further in the qualified immunity. If you get fired as a police officer, you cannot work as a police officer anywhere else in the United States. Forget the county, forget the state, because all they got to do is move to another state, and then they can reapply to become a cop, and then it'll become law enforcement there. No, that will stay with you for the rest of your life. If you get involved in any form of misconduct and you get fired for that misconduct, you cannot work as a police officer any place else ever again. Now, another piece of information I left out. So you heard Tyreek Hill call out for Drew, right? Hey, you need to call Drew. Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested. So the person he was referred to was his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, a powerful agent within the four major sports we talk about: NBA, MLB, NFL, NHL. Anybody that works in that line knows about Drew Rosenhaus and how powerful he is. Right? Yeah, Drew Rosenhaus. He is a powerful agent. And he's been doing it a long time. So that's who Tyreek Hill was referring to when he was on that exchange. Right? So clearly the police were wrong in this situation, right? Anybody that try to tell you otherwise, they don't know what they talk about. They're just out here, projecting their racism on other people and stuff like that. But clearly the police officers were in the wrong, and it's that the usual suspects ain't talking about this. Now, you would think that this kind of scenario, and Kamala Harris is running for president of the United States, right? She would do something about this, but she ain't. Donald Trump, don't expect Trump to do anything about this. If anything, Trump will just get up on the podium, go on his little rambling racist rants and stuff like that. He'll be like, hey, I want them fired. I want them out the country and fired, right? So don't expect Trump to come out and say anything about this. Don't even expect your local officials to capitalize on this kind of opportunity to be like, you know what? What's going on within the black community and what's going on with these routine traffic stops is wrong. We really need to do something about that. Another thing that needs to happen is that there needs to be a process to where these guys are evaluated, and I'm not just talking about the annual evaluation. Like, oh yeah, you made these stops, you made these arrests, and you are a public figure, and you are a pillar within the community. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the cognitive evaluation of these guys making decisions, because you let a lot of these guys tell it. A lot of these guys that would defend this nonsense. Oh well, you got to understand this is a tough job, and they make split-second decisions. Okay, if that's the case, there needs to be at least a annual, if not biannual, evaluation of these guys' cognitive state. Because if they're not fit to be on the street, then they don't need to be out there putting people's lives in jeopardy and stuff like that, all because they get a hair up their ass. Don't expect that. World class, hey, don't expect that. You know why? Because all these guys are in their bubble. All these guys are worrying about their bottom line, and all these guys just want to play football. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want my show. I don't want no be. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna say. They're not gonna get on code like we will. They're just gonna, look at the situation. Oh man, that's fucked up, man, and they're gonna go on about their life. But yeah, ideally, they should speak up. This should challenge Roger Goodell. This should challenge anybody else. That what happened to Tyreek Hill was wrong, and there needs to be accountability. There needs to be punishment. I don't even want to say the word accountability, because accountability can mean community service. They go cut the grass somewhere. There needs to be punishment. So, and you guys let me know what y'all think about this, but this is crazy. This was a crazy situation Tyreek Hill was involved in. Fortunately, thankfully, it was just him getting yanked out the car, put on the ground, because we've seen situations where it's gotten far worse and far deadlier. Now, if people really want to be outraged about this, and you got to show it, not just tell it, right? But anyway, I thank everybody for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. All right.